Hey everybody, welcome to another Amazon Armory video. Today we're not talking about private label, we're talking about print on demand. You're gonna wanna hear this information, here we go. Hey everybody, my name's Tim Jordan and I'm here with another Amazon Armory video where we are talking about print on demand. Now I know that in this channel, we primarily talk about private label. That's kind of been my thing for a long time. But I'm starting to change my mind about this giant e-commerce opportunity and starting to realize that it's not all just about private label. It's frankly about making money. And there are a lot of ways to make money online. I know a lot of people that are very successful in affiliate sales, very successful in wholesale. And one of the things that interests me most right now that I'm learning myself is this concept of print on demand. So I'm not gonna teach you about it. I'm not gonna talk to you about it. I've brought in an expert, Shimmy Morris, who's been doing this whole print on demand thing for about 8 years, coming to us from the UK. So thanks for being here, Shimmy.
Hi, thanks for having me. Looking forward.
So what I want to do in this video is I want to talk kind of high level. I want to talk about the general concepts, the premises, like maybe how to get started with print on demand, because I think a lot of specifically this audience, like I said earlier, doesn't really care specifically how they make money. They want to make money online. And I know a lot of people are having a just wild amount of success with this whole print on demand thing. I know some people are also failing miserably, probably because they're trying to do it wrong or they've learned some of the wrong strategies. So I want to use this opportunity to give people kind of a high level overview on what the heck print on demand is. So if you would start out, like, how were you introduced to it? How did you find it in the first place? And kind of how did your journey start with this print on demand thing?
So I started just out of high school. It was all a bit of a fluke. My brother told me about this online tutor called Donald Wilson, who had a Facebook advertising course. And I thought, this sounds interesting. You know, all you have to do is make a few t-shirts, create a few ads on Facebook, and that was it. And I was just out of high school, so I was looking for anything to do because I had no plans to go to university. So I thought I would try it. My first few designs failed miserably, as they do. But after a while of practicing and trying and I kept going, the t-shirt started taking off and the Facebook ads started working. There was great positive ROI and sales just, started flowing in. At this time, I was using a platform called Teespring, which you've probably heard of because it's crazy popular. I don't currently use them, but at the time I was, and it was all very straightforward. There wasn't really much for me to do. All I had to really do was set up the ads and create the designs, and that's about it. I didn't have to physically do any manual tasks, which is nice. I like that.
As we continue, I don't want any of you that are watching this to think that we're just interviewing Shimmy's story. Like, we're not just talking about the backstory here. He's actually going to give us some really solid information, maybe on action steps for any of you that are thinking about learning more about this or that are curious if this is even an option for you. So stay tuned for some of that good stuff. But I do want to make a point here. 8 years ago, you found this print on demand thing, and now it's kind of your full-time thing, right? Like, this kind of is what occupies your life.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, funny enough, it doesn't fully occupy my life. I do a lot of YouTube stuff, but I do spend a good amount of time on print on demand. And since I got married, my wife has taken over, I would say 80% of the print on demand business as well, just because it just allows me to do other things. I'm like everyone else watching. I want to make as much money in various different ways.
The whole reason I asked you that is you kind of made the point I wanted you to. Print on demand is flexible, which I like. You're not stuck with a ton of money in inventory. You're not as under the gun to find ways to receive more cash to buy more products, and you're not always worried about expiration dates and seasonality, and you're stuck with a container full of t-shirts. Print on demand is flexible. You literally transition a lot of your business over to your wife, you just said, which is pretty interesting because I think most of us listening just want to make some money in a way that is a little bit less stressful than some other ways to make money, with some flexibility to kind of have the lifestyle that we want. Let's talk about what actual print on demand is. Give us like the elevator pitch version of print on demand. What the heck is it?
Okay, so print on demand in its simplest form is you would create a design, slap it on a product, be it a t-shirt, a hoodie, a bath mat, post it doesn't matter, and then you would get sales for that product, and you would link with a company who handles the printing, the shipping, the customers, everything. The only thing you are doing is creating a design and putting and uploading it to a website to one of these printing partner companies, and then advertising it. Now, some printing partner companies, you don't even have to advertise because they come with marketplaces like Amazon or Etsy or eBay or Redbubble. It's that straightforward, and there's no upfront money. There's none of that sort of stuff. I mean, you mentioned before how potentially, having inventory and all of that kind of stuff. I still have 3 boxes of products, mouth guards, when we used to sell them on Amazon FBA. And since selling that business, we just cut that product out, and we just don't know what to do with these boxes and boxes of mouth guards. But with print on demand, there is no stock, there's no warehousing, no fulfillment fees, nothing like that. It's all done by the print on demand company, and all that cost is factored into the cost of the actual item. So let's say a t-shirt is $10, you would sell it for $20, and the company, let's say Printful or whatever, would take that $10 and then ship it out to the customer, and you would get the remaining $10.
Which is amazing, especially when Amazon get into the game, because especially like 8 years ago when you started this whole print on demand thing, you were using probably independent websites with independent printers. Like you said, you don't have to buy the inventory, but you had to come up with a way to advertise those things. You were talking about Facebook ads. So you came up with a cool design after doing some product research, see what was trending or what a popular niche was. And then you have to drive traffic to it. But the marketplace has changed that. So Amazon, my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong, several years ago, saw the power in this print on demand thing. And they set up these giant factories that printed one-off shirts.
Yeah.
And Amazon merch started, so I could upload products to Amazon. I could get those optimized and to rank within the catalog. And if people bought those shirts, Amazon would print them. Now, how has it changed since then? I know that they've gotten into different products. I know they've made it easier for merch sellers. And in addition to the question of how has it changed since merch first launched, what do you think the advantage is for Amazon merch as opposed to other merch platforms or other merch kind of opportunities through websites and digital marketing and those things?
Well, Amazon really changed the game with merch, because merch used to be very much like drop shipping, in the sense that someone would buy something and 2-3 weeks later it would arrive. In 2022, that doesn't work anymore. People want things instantly. And what Amazon did is they brought Prime to merch. And for me, it's mind-blowing, because if you order a t-shirt, it is printed for you then and there. It's not mass printed and then they just ship it out. They print when an order goes through. So for them to print and then ship it out to you, if you're in the UK, where I am, you get it next day. And to get it next day, I think in the US, maybe 2 days, Prime, whatever. But to me, that was just mind-blowing. And for a print-on-demand platform to be able to offer that, it's huge. That was a huge game changer. And then another game changer is the fact that Amazon gets billions of visitors every single month. Now, I know that's the main website and that's the main products, and merch sees a fraction of that, but it's still a huge amount of traffic, and you are showing up on the main Amazon website. You're not showing up on a specific merch sub-site of Amazon. If someone searches for funny dog t-shirt, you could be there. There's no reason why you can't be there. And a lot of the same ranking techniques apply. The whole thing with like the super URL for Amazon FBA and the keywords and all that kind of stuff, it applies a lot to merch. So I've done, I don't know if anyone's done this, but when I first did Amazon, there was a thing where you could scroll down the listings and find your URL and then get people to buy from that, and it kind of made Amazon look like they were buying and doing the whole search. And you can actually bring a lot of that over to merch, which is very cool. And a lot of people don't know because they never had an FBA background to begin with, which is quite unique here, that you've got the FBA background, now you can kind of transition that into another income source.
Yeah, so specific to this audience, like you said, I know a lot of people that have researched optimizing and product ranking and keyword research and those things, and have struggled to find their first product, and they didn't want to spend a bunch of money on a container full of stuff that might not have sold.
Yeah.
Where the merch community doesn't have that background, like you said. So for those of you that are listening, if you're coming through the Legion channel and you're a private labeler by trade, you kind of have a leg up on a lot of people. I have a camper. I take my family camping. And if I go to Amazon, I type camping accessories, within the first page, I frequently see t-shirts that have like funny camping sayings on them. Those are merch items. You don't just have to have people searching for camping t-shirts. It's camping accessories, and the shirts are popping up. And the people that have loaded those shirts on there are making sales. It costs them almost nothing to get started. They don't have to buy the inventory. and they just get paid every month for those sales, which is really, really cool. So let's talk about startup costs. If someone was thinking about getting started in this print-on-demand game through Amazon Merch, what does it cost to get started?
So if you do it through Amazon Merch, the cost is $0. You have to sign up for a free Merch for Amazon account, which is usually linked to your private Amazon account. So again, unlike FBA, you don't need $25 or maybe it's $40 a month now, whatever it is, subscription. There's none of that. So it's completely free to sign up. In terms of inventory costs, you only pay when an item is sold. And then that money is just taken out of the profit anyway. So nothing actually leaves your bank. This is specifically with Amazon Merch though. It's different depending on what platform you're using. But yeah, the only cost would potentially be advertising if you want to do that, or maybe some tools if you want to do that, or if you want to pay for some designs or anything like that. But if you're able to create a t-shirt like the t-shirt you're wearing, I do e-com, and I've got one that just says, imagine something like this. Anyone can design this on Canva, right? Canva's also free. And you can create a design, put it on Amazon, bam. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get sales. Okay, I don't want to pretend this is really easy and we're all going to be millionaires overnight. You've got to remember there are millions of products on Amazon, billions of products on Amazon probably that you are competing with. But as it stands, yeah, there's no startup costs, which is crazy.
So what is the easiest way to get started? You said that the infrastructure is already there. Amazon already has the printing factories and they already have the infrastructure and they have the marketplace. You told me that getting an account is free. So what's the next step? And I suspect you're going to say researching the first design that you think you can sell.
Yes. So once you've got an account, it's weird with Amazon, you have to apply for an account and get accepted. Sometimes it can take a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of weeks. But once you get accepted, it works in tiers. So you start on tier 10 and you can upload 10 designs over 10 days, one design a day. I recommend filling up all of those slots over those 10 days. And what I would say is, we'll get to how to fill them up in a second, but if, after 3-4 weeks, some designs aren't getting any sales, delete them and add and replace them, because you can't add more than 10 designs until you tier up to tier 25, in which case you can add 25 designs, right? And that's kind of how it works. Obviously, you want to make sure you're uploading the right products. So just like with FBA, where you would go to Alibaba and you would use all these tools and try and find with the BSR and the reviews and how competitive everyone else's listings are, you want to kind of do that with merch, but not in such detail. So with merch, you can kind of just see what's trending, what styles and what designs is doing well, what colors and what fonts, what topics, what niches. And then you can kind of just go and either design stuff that is similar to other people but unique. You kind of want to change. You don't want to be stealing anyone's designs. Or you can try and come up with completely unique designs, but you want to be designing what is proven to work. You don't want to try and create demand. You want to just fill the demand that is already there.
So you mentioned some tools. If you had to pick one tool to help do that product research, what would it be?
So product research, I would now pick Pretty Merch. They have a new research section and a trademark checker section, which is very, very cool. Now look, there are plenty of research tools out there, don't get me wrong, but I find Pretty Merch is the cheapest and the most user-friendly. What is very cool, regardless of research, is the trademark section. And now, you don't really run into this problem with FBA as much in terms of stealing a potential trademark. But with merch, there's so many things that you don't know a trademark. Like, for example, keep calm and whatever, that keep calm, you can't actually use that, which a lot of people wouldn't know. And there's tons of ideas. So what Pretty Much have is a really cool, it's like a 2-in-1 tool in a way. And you can search for a phrase and it will cross-reference it with all the databases in various countries like America, UK, a whole bunch of them, Italy, whatever. And it'll tell you if it's okay to use. And if you know it's okay to use, then you can go and then design it. But just to find out what's getting the most sales, what's getting the most reviews, what keywords people are using, what's got the best moving BSR and the best average over time, I would just use the Pretty Merch Chrome extension. It just has it all, really.
Amazing. Pretty Merch. And if you guys are interested in Pretty Merch, check out the link in the description below. And there's some more content information on that website where you can learn more about merch. So big question, Shimmy. How long does it take for someone to actually be successful at this in terms of dedication? Like how many hours a week do they have to spend doing this? Is it 1 hour? Is it 70 hours a week, or does it vary?
Great question. Well, look, I'm not gonna say it's gonna take this many hours to be this successful, because obviously that's impossible. But what I will say is, however much time you put into it, you'll get back out, right? So if you want to put an hour a week in, you can. Maybe in an hour you can create 4 designs or 3 designs. That's great. It might take you a while. I would personally recommend starting out doing maybe 1 to 2 hours a day. And the reason I say 1 to 2 hours a day rather than say, go for it, do 7 hours a day, just all in, because you'll burn out. And because it's the type of business where you don't see a return immediately, it could take quite a few designs, it could take quite a few weeks, quite a few months. If you're putting in 7 hours a day, you're going to just question everything. You're gonna just think, why am I doing this? I'm not getting anything out of it. The important thing with print on demand is consistency. Very similar to YouTube. You can post one video, great. It's all about consistency. It's much easier to be consistent with 1 or 2 hours of work a day than it is with 5 or 6 hours of work a day. So I would say focus on creating some designs and doing research for 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day. Within a couple of weeks, you should start to get sales. Nothing major, but hopefully as you tier up the Amazon system and you get to tier 1,000 and whatever, you go crazy, you get to tier 100,000, whatever it is, then that's when a lot more money will be made. And just a quick caveat, the way to tier up is to get that number of sales. So if you're on tier 10 and you want to go tier 25, you need about 20 sales to do that. It's about like 80% of the tier in terms of sales to actually go to the next tier. So if you're getting to tier 100,000, you're getting 80,000 sales, which is pretty good in itself. But yeah, I would say 2 hours a day.
Amazing. Well, thank you for this information. For those of you that are listening, there's a lot more content out there on merch. Shimmy actually has his own YouTube channel. What's the name of that YouTube channel, Shimmy?
Just my name, Shimmy Morris.
Go look up Shimmy Morris' stuff. He's got a lot more information, but just wanted to introduce a lot of you to the general premise of merch and print on demand in general, because I'm getting started in it myself. I think it's interesting, and I think a lot of you are probably going to be interested to learn more. So thank you all for watching. If you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up. And if you have any questions for Shimmy, you can post them in the comment section below, and we'll make sure that he gets those questions over. I'll make sure I get those questions over to him, and we get the answers back over to you. Thank you, Shimmy. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see all of you on the next Armory video.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.